Welcome back, class. We're going to go over auxiliary views. So problem 11-1. Yes, this is in chapter 11. All this used to be in the same chapter in the old textbook. All this used to be in chapter 2. So if you have an old textbook, probably 2016 or older, most likely you'll find all these problems in the back of chapter 2. All right, so I decided to keep them together as one, even though auxiliary views are covered in chapter 11. So if you need more practice for auxiliary views, like the one you see here, go to chapter 11. We're only going to do 2 problems on auxiliary views for now. All right, so let's go ahead and start problem 11-1. Okay, so we are going to have our front view, right? Stand in front of the building. We have our front view, top view, side view. And then we have our auxiliary view. Okay, so the reason for the auxiliary view is to be able to look down this slot, right? So this is at an angle, this rectangular groove. And the reason for the auxiliary view, once again, is so we can dimension it. We're not dimensioning in this chapter. We will be doing that in a later chapter. All right, so once again, let's create our 3 views and our auxiliary views. Let's start with the 3 simple views first, and then we'll save the auxiliary view for last. Okay, so let's take a look at the problem. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so we have our isometric view. Okay, so let's start first with the front view, the easy one. Okay, so front view, there it is. Okay, so let's go to AutoCAD. And let's go ahead and change the color of these layers. Okay, so some of you already feel comfortable doing this on your own. I'm just going to change the thickness for the video so it's easier to see these lines. And again, you want to follow the standards. And in your textbook, it gives you what type of line weights to use. So we are following a standard, the American National Standards Institute and the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, the ASME standards. And we also have the international standards out of France. So these groups of retired engineers and mechanical engineers, they come up with these standards for everybody to follow. They come up with the line weights, what type of title block to use, how to dimension, what type of threads to use, how to call out threads, etc. We'll talk more about standards later on. All right, so let me go ahead and turn this into yellow for the continuous lines, just so we can see them a lot cleaner. All right, so okay, the front view is actually already done. It's complete. Okay, so we don't have any hidden lines to worry about in the background. Nope, no hidden lines. Okay, so the front view is done. Okay, so let's go to the top view. Okay, so here's the top view. Okay, so obviously we can see down the cyan rectangular groove. And then we have the salmon colored one, but we don't see it exit from the top view, so we need to represent it with hidden lines where it exits at the bottom. Okay, so once again, we need to represent the exit with hidden lines if you're looking at it from the top view. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw those features. Go back to AutoCAD. Okay, so we already have the slot, rectangular slot here on the left, right? We can see all the way through, but the one here on the right, we don't see it exit, so we need to represent it with hidden lines. So once again, opening at the bottom, represent it with hidden lines. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so we know it exits here, so we're going to follow these construction lines, these yellow construction lines. This is where it exits at the bottom. Okay, so let me hit escape. So let's go to the hidden layer. And let me change the color. I forgot to change the color on the hidden layer. Let's go from red to something lighter so it's easier to see. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Go to the hidden layer, use the line command, and from the exit here at the bottom, make sure you have object snap turned on and ortho on. So from this bottom corner, go straight up. And it's the same depth as this slot here on the left. So we know to stop here. Okay, and then we know it has to slide all the way down. Okay, so we can see this portion of it. From here on, we don't see it. So there's the back surface of the slot. Right click, enter. Okay, so if we go back, we just took care of this line as a hidden line, and now we took care of this edge going all the way up. Okay, so we took care of those red hidden lines. Now we need to take care of this one, okay, that we cannot see. Okay, so let me go ahead and shorten this one to the correct length using the grips. There it is. Hit escape to deselect. Okay, once again, go to line command, and here's the other vertex. So this is the opening once again, the exit at the bottom for this angled rectangular groove. So let's go to this vertex and go straight up. And there it is. There's the opening. Click, right click, enter. And let's go ahead and shorten it. And hit escape, and there it is. Okay, so if you slide down, you'll slide down, and this is the exit. Okay, so that's it for the top view. Okay, let's go to the side view. Okay, so we took care of the top view. Go back to the front, and now let's take a look at the side view. Okay, so the side view, notice how the two slots line up with each other. Okay, so some of the hidden lines are going to take care of both of them. Some of the hidden lines that we draw. All right, so we can see this portion of the salmon colored opening here. We can see part of it, but we cannot see it slide down. So we need to draw a red hidden line going straight down. That red hidden line is going to take care of this surface, this edge, this inside edge, and also it'll take care of the depth of the cyan vertical groove. Okay, so let's go back to AutoCAD. Okay, so roll the wheel. Okay, so we can see the salmon colored area here that's open. We don't see the rest of it, so it slides down, and we need to draw that red hidden line. Okay, so we are already in the red hidden layer. And let's go ahead and draw that red hidden line. And right click, enter, and that's it. We're done. There's nothing else we can do. There are more red hidden lines in the background, but they are overridden by the solid visible object lines, which are thicker in line weight. Okay, so we're done with that side view. Now we're gonna work on the auxiliary view. Okay, so let me turn off my construction layer, the first construction layer, and let's focus on this construction layer. We changed the color. For the second layer, for the second construction layer, so I have two of them. Turned off one of them already. Okay. All right, so how do you create the construction lines for this view? Okay, so all we simply do is we create lines parallel to this opening, to this rectangular groove. We just draw lines parallel to it. And it doesn't matter if we extend our lines. And then the next step, what we do is, you don't have to do this step, is we're going to take this one. We're going to make a copy of it. So I'm going to make a copy of it, grab it from this corner, and I'm going to connect it here. Let me turn off ortho. So we're going to go here, click, right? And then I'm done. So I can just hit escape on the keyboard. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to left mouse click, and I'm going to, like a rodeo, lasso around the object I want to rotate. I'm going to rotate it with respect to this edge. And you'll see why in a minute. So I hit rotate. So first I pre-select the items, hit rotate. Then I'm going to rotate about this point. And notice how I'm free to rotate. If you have ortho on, You can only rotate in increments of 90 degrees, as you can see. So turn off ortho, and I'm going to line it up with this corner. Okay, so the reason we did this is to help us create our auxiliary view. So it's easier to line things up, right? Okay, so we're going to use our construction lines. So this is the way I came up with the construction lines. I took this view and lined it up with this yellow construction line, and then I went ahead and extended the other construction lines, right, to be perpendicular to this one or perpendicular to the slot. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and take a look at the auxiliary view. So let's go back to the front view. So once again, we want to look down the slot. So we're going to have to take an imaginary line that's perpendicular to these two walls, and we're going to imagine we're rotating around it. And there it is, and that's what the auxiliary view looks like. Okay, so we're going to look straight down the slot, and look, we have this edge separating the top surface and the right side surface. We do have an object line here that we have to draw, and we're going to draw the opening. But first, let's start with drawing the periphery. So it's a rectangle. So let's go back to AutoCAD. Okay, so let me hit escape to deselect. Let's go to the visible object layer. And I'm going to use the line command to draw my periphery for the auxiliary view, and right click enter. Okay, so notice how everything lines up. Everything lines up. Okay, so now we have the slot. So here's the depth of the slot here. So we know we have to go up to this line and hit escape to deselect. And then we have the slot. So we're going to take care of the slot using these construction lines. And this is the one for the depth. So we know the slot is right there. Okay, so let me hit escape to deselect. I'm going to use visible layer. And we're going to use the line command. Okay, so we're going to go straight across. There it is. There's the slot. This is the depth. And now we can close it up. Okay, and right click enter. Okay, so we can go ahead and shorten this one. Okay, there it is, and hit escape. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. See how it's open here? So we need to break this into two separate lines, object lines. So let's go back. Okay, so this line we need to adjust. Let's go ahead and shorten it to the correct length because there's an opening here. Escape to deselect. And we'll just create a new object line from this vertex to this one. And right click enter. Okay, so there's the slot. And the whole purpose of this is so we can get a clear picture and dimension it, but we're not dimensioning yet, at least not in this chapter. All right, so now we also have that sharp corner. Okay, so if we go back, we have this sharp edge, right? You can see it now right there. So we need to draw this sharp edge here as an object line. So let's go back, line command, and from this corner here, we're going to go across, follow the construction line and click, right click enter. And now we're going to go ahead and shorten it to the correct length. Make sure it snaps to the right place, and there it is, and hit escape. Now it looks like the auxiliary view in a 3D model, right? Okay, so now we got to draw this slot. So we got to draw the slot, but we can't see it exit right at the bottom. So we're going to have to represent the exit with hidden lines. Okay, so the bottom will be represented with hidden lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw that slot. Okay, so we're going to come over from the front view. Okay, so let's use the line command, white visible object layer. So from this corner, we're going to follow the yellow construction line, follow the yellow brick road, right click. And we know that this is the size of the opening. So we're going to follow this construction line, right? Follow it. There it is, and close it. And right click enter, and now we can adjust the visible object line to the correct length. There it is. Hit escape. Okay, now this one's open here, this larger slot, but the narrow one here is closed off, as you can see. Let's go back, see how it looks like one straight visible object line. But now we need to draw the red hidden line for the opening at the bottom that we cannot see from this perspective. Okay, so let's go ahead and complete that. All right, so the red hidden lines are going to come over from the bottom of the rectangular groove. So let's go to the red hidden layer, use the line command, and from the bottom here, we're going to go across, follow the yellow brick line, right? Click. And here's the opposite vertex, right? So follow the yellow brick line, click, and again, we're following this line here, and click. Okay, and right click enter. All right, so now let's fix the length on this one using the blue grips, and click, hit escape to deselect. Now we're not quite done yet. We need to extend this red hidden line. If we go back to the auxiliary view. Okay, so we need to represent this surface back here, or the edges of that surface, as a red hidden line. We can't see it, but we need to represent it. See, it goes down and it exits. Okay, so we're not quite done yet. So we're going to take this red hidden line and extend it to this vertex. Let me hit escape, and there's the slide. So here's the opening. You slide down, and you don't see this part of the tunnel, or the, I should say, the rectangular groove, and there's the exit. Notice how it lines up with the front view. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, we are missing this back edge here, this corner. So from this corner, let's take a look at it in the 3D model. Okay, so from this view, once again, we have our red hidden lines for the cyan colored rectangular groove. But we also have this back edge right here. This edge right here that we cannot see, but it's there. This is a hard edge here that we cannot see from this perspective, but it's there. So if we rotate once again, it's this edge back here. We need to represent it with the hidden line. Okay, so let's go back to AutoCAD. So you can see which edge I'm talking about. I'm going to use line command, red hidden layer. So from this corner, going across, we have that red hidden line, that edge in the back. I click enter to exit. It goes the entire depth. Okay, let me hit escape. So there it is. This red hidden line has nothing to do with the slot. It happens to be that back edge. Okay, hit escape. Once again, go to the 3D model. It's this back edge, okay, that we're showing with that red hidden line. All right, so now we're done. Let's take a look at the answer key. And it looks right. We have that long red hidden line representing the back edge. We have the red hidden lines representing the exit of the slot as we go down, and also the wall. We took care of these hidden lines and this hidden line. So we're actually done with this problem. Okay, let me double click to do a zoom fit. If you want to type in your name, go for it. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the yellow construction lines. And I need to delete this extra copy of the side view. Okay, so I can just click on the lines I don't need. And I'm going to hit the delete with the eraser. Don't need this area. And delete. And we do have an extra line here. We have a visible line on top of each other, or a pair of visible lines. Let me delete one of them. Okay, that was from the rotated side view, right? Okay, double click. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Go ahead and save your work. So save as, and we'll put our initials and save. All right, so that's the end of this video. See you in the next auxiliary view problem 11-13. End of video.